Wilson. Ishtar Rising by Robert Anton Wilson is that book is actually dealing with that particular science also too. But so two of these together would also represent, this would be the nipple and all of that and all, and you know, and the whole female breast thing also too. Just moving right along, we're going to deal with a couple of things as we go on. One of the things with the ancient Egyptians was they had to record all of this particular information because the particular memory was running out. Which means as cycles went on and on and on, all of this particular knowledge that they had X amount of years, about 3,000 years to get it all recorded so the rest of the world could get this particular information, because the African was literally losing its memory. And so therefore, now it's the difference between seeing some people over there now that basically don't know shit. Other than a few people in the bush that still kept on to some of the customs, but these damn sure don't look like the ancient Egyptians. That's because in actuality, we as ourselves lost our memory, and it doesn't have anything to do with slavery also too. We just got the worst end of the stick based on slavery. But what we're talking about here is the memory started running out. So on the other hand, what you're dealing with here based on this is this. You're dealing with also with Osiris's mind. Osiris was cut into 14 pieces. On another hand, what this means is when it came to black people's minds were shattered into about 13 or 14 pieces, and so now we have a schizophrenia. Which means you can learn this in 1 minute, and another minute you can be in a whole other world. Black people are very schizophrenic, which explains us why a motherfucking nigga can't get shit right. He got about 4,000 or 5,000 different fucking minds. But then again, on the other hand, but this was also prophecy because our mind was shattered in slavery. But then again, on the other hand, the different 14 pieces all the 14 pieces, they found what? 13 pieces. The only one they didn't find was 14 pieces. Right? You got, they didn't find 13 pieces. The 14 piece also represented the pineal gland, which is the penis. They didn't find the penis, but it was not talking about the penis down here. It was talking about the penis of the brain. So this particular penis of the brain, once this third eye, this pineal gland is ignited, the 14 pieces of your dimensions of your particular mind comes back into one and comes back into focus. You see, so you got a shattered mind that can all be put back together with the 14 pieces, which is the pineal gland, other than the penis down here. You see, other than the penis down here. Also too. So that's some other science to look into also. Moving right along, go get the movie Pleasantville.
What is it?
Pleasantville. It's on video now. And the movie is based on nobody not having no color. But soon as they went, because it was in a black and white town, and two people in the future went back to the 1950s in a black and white town. And they started infecting people, which just like you infect people if you go and screw some white person and all, that person is no longer white. So it's a lot of symbology in this movie. They started infecting people, and the whole people in the town, all the people in the town start turning to color. Literally, because it was black and white town, and they started turning into color. Although it's all white people in the movie. You see. So therefore, the ones that started bringing on color, the few black and white people that was left behind started discriminating against those colors in the movie. You see, discriminating against those colors in the movie. But one of the guys that was discriminating against them and stuff, his wife started turning the color, and he said, maybe we can go get it fixed. And she said, maybe I don't want to get it fixed. She liked being black. The movie got some serious stuff going down in it. You see what I'm saying? Got some serious stuff going down here. Into the point where at one point in the movie, when they recognized that all of them are supposed to be in color, they saw some Egyptian artifact in a window. You got to go and look at the actual movie, and that's also representing illumination. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the actual movie that you need to deal with at this particular time. The movie is called Pleasantville. You know how when it was pleasant when there was not that much colors running around. Things was pleasant when it was Mayberry. That's why they said we need to get back to the morals and the values that built this country. That means slavery. It was pleasant for their ass. So now, so get that particular movie also. Now, I want to get into this particular part because I might have mentioned that where they got a whole thing and they're going to try to get these little bit of mummies that they didn't eat already. They're trying to get all these mummies right now and all this kind of thing because they're trying to get the DNA from them because they can clone these pharaohs and bring these pharaohs back because they have the cloning technology to do that now. So they already cloned a lot of these particular pharaohs and the ones that was mummified and brought them back. And which is what the brother was asking the question yesterday about the high priest of Imhotep. And the priests didn't mummify themselves because they understood based on their particular energy, based on their particular foresight into the future, that this is a very thing that can actually happen. Now, so you remember now you had your pharaohs, which would be very advanced and stuff as far as compared to people now. But then again, they were not the high priest. So you can clone a pharaoh, he's not going to give you the key to the mysteries. It's the high priest that knows the key to the mystery. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, they haven't got that much information for the simple fact that it's the doggone high priest, you understand, that know the key to the actual mystery. You see what I'm saying? And you can't find a lot of priests also too. You can't find a lot of them too. Now, I want to get into this particular science right now because this is something that I want to get into is this. Let me get my notes. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. Y'all bear with me. Let me know when you want to take the break, man.
We can take one now.
You want to take one now?
Yeah.
Okay, because maybe somebody want to get something to eat.
Right.
Okay, so what time is it? 7 o'clock. So this is a good time to take, because that's a good time to take the break and all, because I'm on page 3 and I got 20. So it's best to take the break now. It's best to take the break now so we can get into this, because we're going to have a rough time. We on? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're back now. Okay, now, what we're going to do now, we're going to do something new, because there's a lot of people that bum rush the stage that had a lot of questions and answers. Kind of tell them in the kitchen, it's kind of tell them to quiet down a little bit, because it distracts me. What we're going to do now is, because a lot of people had a lot of questions and answers, so we're going to go into a question and answer for a brief minute, then we're going to go back into the, we're going to go back into the actual lecture. So since the people had some questions, they wanted to answer them now and all, we'll do that now. What's that, sister?
What do you think is behind the Y2K?
Yeah, I figured I knew that was going to be the first one. Let me give you two things about it. Okay, number one, they're trying to sell new computers. That's the first thing. They're already Y2K compatible. Most of the big corporations went Y2K compatible in January. Okay then, the other thing is, that's one part. The other thing is, I would never say that the white man won't do something.
All right.
I won't come and say, nah, he ain't gonna do it. Because then again, we know the history of him.
That's right.
So I'm not gonna be like, So when we look at it on the other level, on the other flip side is if they all got their shit covered, they already covered their backs, then they can use that as another form of a caste system for the ones who are not updated. So literally, just like you got your welfare and all the type of things and stuff based on money, well now based on the information and based on accessibility to technology, the ones who don't have, the ones who are not Y2K compatible, this can make a bigger caste system of some people that's not automated to the particular point, whereas, basically they can literally make two types of society. My point is this, my take on it is, let's get it on. Fuck the dumb shit. What's gonna happen, gonna happen. Now I can't be a hypocrite and talk about the fall of America. You understand what I'm saying? And then run around with my head cut off when the shit start actually going down. So if he gonna draw first blood, me personally, I'm welcoming it. You see what I'm saying? I'm welcoming it. Because I know one thing also too. I know that the only reason why he would even tear up a machine that ain't broke as far as his system is because he realizes one thing that we don't realize, that he is calculating the time when we are supposed to rise spiritually, and he has no choice than to do this Y2K thing. So let's say hypothetically it does go down. That's a catalyst and a sign to say, let's get this shit on spiritually. And basically, he can't win that war. Like I said in the Sanskrit, and if I'm banking on the Sanskrit text, it says that there's devices in the body that will come online when the race, in the last cycle, when the race is threatened with annihilation. And so therefore, if he literally comes out and say, it's time to get it on, I can't double back now and say, no, 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 I want to run to the hills. When I know that in actuality, the only reason why he's doing this is because he understands that he has to do it. So if he has to do something, I'm going to take advantage on what he has to do, knowing that in actuality, I'm supposed to be doing something to his ass. So basically, my whole thing is spirituality in that particular realm. So I understand based on the balance of you got to have 100. Instead of, see, the whole tithing thing was not talking about money. It was talking about you give 98% to the physical world, you got to give at least 10% to the spiritual world. So I understand that I'm not going to rack my brains on trying to find those face healers and all this kind of thing here, but the simple fact, I'm a spiritual vessel. And I know that in actuality, based on the teachings, all teachings is the time when we're supposed to go to another plateau. Now, I ain't going to scramble around and try to goddamn niche out my corner and carve out my corner in hell. I won't out. Now, that's me personally. Now, does that mean that you're not supposed to do certain things or whatever? That's up to you. I'm just giving you my agenda. I'm saying let's get the shit on. You see what I'm saying? Because I know this particular party. Right now, you can't live around the street with damn Negroes that'll steal your fucking radio and all that. What you thinking they lock the fucking supermarkets? It's gonna be just like doggone Road Warrior. Niggas gonna be the ones preying on your ass, stealing your water and your stockpiles and everything else. So my point is, it's got to be to a point where ass, hey, let's just doggone, I'm focusing on what I'm supposed to focus on. The spiritual realm. That's the realm that I know, that's the realm that I function on, because I understand if any indication of the last 1,000 years ought to tell me that hell, the fucking physical realm, we don't function good on that no more because we've been there, done that. And everything, and Murphy's Law is our big brother. You see, not if things can go wrong, they will go wrong. No, it's worse than that. It's our mother. If things can go wrong, they gonna go wrong when it comes to black people. But so my point is I'm teaching a realm of spirituality now. I also understand that everything is relevant. So if a brother is here and he has some ideas on Y2K and other things that you need to be doing, that's relevant too.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? That's relevant too. I'm not trying to be a sectarianism saying, oh, my shit is the shit and you need to listen to me and my shit is the only way it's supposed to be. You understand what I'm saying? But on the other hand, I give the spiritual side. And I know based on signs, the messenger wrote Fall of America.
All right.
So now I ain't going to be surprised when it falls. It's already been prophesied. You see what I'm saying? There is something of the gathering of the gods. And guess what? If you are lucky enough to be conscious at this particular time, when ignorance is so powerful and you could be out there somewhere, you know what I'm saying, running down a crack pipe, you understand what I'm saying, or doing any kind of crazy shit, a raffle ticket or up there doing the Jehovah's Witness thing, for the mere fact that you are in here wanting to know this particular knowledge, on a Saturday night means that in actuality you have been chosen to be that gathering that they're talking about. Go get the movie Highlander 1. Take it from the Moorish mystery. Highlander is the Moors. When they go there and they talk to Sean Connery, although he's white, he said, I'm an Egyptian. Well, you read between the lines. He said, I'm an Egyptian. He said, you are a model. He's talking to the Highlander. He said, what are we supposed to do? He said, we're supposed to suffer and bounce around on this earth through the ages until we meet someplace in a faraway land that's not yet established yet. This was someplace in the 1500s. And then when we go to that faraway land, which is America, because this was in Europe at the time, there will be a great gathering, and that's when the showdown. Now the great gathering of the masters or the people that's supposed to doggone bring this shit about, you've been gathering me by going to certain lectures and stuff for the last 10 years. Whether it be Nation of Islam, whether it be Rabboni, Dr. York, whether it be a consortium of things. Well, what are you gathering for? Are you gathering to make America better? Or are you gathering it? Are you gathering because your spirit knows that you are the coming of those particular ones that is supposed to stop this shit? Now, let's deal with this right now, because this is a good way to deal with this particular thing right now. I want to deal with this now since it's on my mind. You don't mind, do you? I want to deal with this right now because it's on my mind. Now listen to this so it can assure you on what you're supposed to be doing. Let me get this particular information right here. Bear with me 1 minute. I want to get this particular information right here. I got so many notes. If I'm not mistaken, it's in here. I want to show you something. Put this down 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute. Bear with me. I want to show you here, if I can find it. Hopefully it's in here. Let me see if I got it here. Hold on 1 minute. Bear with me 1 minute. Hidden fire, amount of Muslims killing. Hold on 1 minute. I'm trying to find a Nostradamus prophecy. A Nostradamus prophecy. Fire here in conjunction, Eastern King, the mighty Muslim chief. Hold on. King 7 years, son of the eagle. In so many words, it says, let me get this book right here. He saw a certain amount of visions, Nostradamus. This particular book, The Complete Prophecies of Nostradamus. And in here, he has a certain amount of prophecies that he says is supposed to take place. Now I want to show you this. But I tell you what, while I'm finding this, we can take on some other question and answers. And I'll come back to that particular part in a few minutes, because that's actually a part of the lecture, so I don't necessarily have to rush that. But in so many words, what he said is there's supposed to be a furious black nation that's supposed to rise up. So if we're supposed to be rising up in the 1990s, as he said, what the hell we going hiding and hiding from the hills? I ain't going and getting on no motherfucking land with none of y'all motherfuckers. Y'all kiss my ass. I wouldn't walk down the street with a damn nigga, let alone get on some fucking land with no damn water, walking around with some nasty ass drawers on. You can go ahead. I'm already in the damn the fox hole. I'm already in the hell and in the trenches. Right now, this is the trenches, the asphalt jungle, the battleground. So I ain't gonna leave one battleground to go in the worst battleground. You know, you see what I'm saying? So we'll get back into that particular. I'll give you some questions. Go ahead, sister. Then you. What's that?
I don't know about this question, but I'm reading a series of books.
Right?
Like scientific books, more of this guy Bruce Cathy. Energy Grid and Harmonic Conquest of Space. Yeah. Okay. But he keeps talking about this 144,000. In other words, it has to do with the reciprocal of the speed of light. And he tries to say something about that the light comes in some kind of a circle, whatever. But yeah, I've seen it so much in other places. I'm wondering in the book of Revelation, maybe is that what they're talking about? It's either a light being.
The entire book of Revelations, that particular part is an alchemical text that, like I said before the lecture, that came from Egypt that was added into the text because they needed an ending on the Bible. They didn't have one or whatever the deal is. So they took something that basically was a alchemical process of literally the physical body being born into this Christ light and going through a series of transformations and the chakra energies and the kundalini and all that type of stuff.
But let me say, when they're talking about, when it's talking about 144,000, they're saying that, in other words, it gives you an impression of Revelation. I mean, I haven't read it all.
That's where they're getting the 144,000 from.
144,000 left.
In actuality, this is what's happening here. The energy of the souls that they're talking about, there wasn't but so many souls created originally in the first place. You see what I'm saying? The number that they're talking about, number one, first of all, it's a symbolic number.
Yeah, but I think it's got something to do with that light speed.
Well, Jabba Black talked about the whole 144 suns. But S-U-N and S-O-N is one and the same. They're still talking about, the word soul comes from the word solar, which means sun. So literally it's a symbolic number of those particular original Titan sparks that was in the universe prior to creation. So it's still just another scientific way of talking about the same thing of the elect, of the remnant of those particular original Titan, Typhonian, Draconian energies, basically. So the light that the new chemical light and all that type of stuff that they're talking about when they deal with the sun and all of that type of stuff is still nothing but the same souls. The word soul is short for solar.
What it seems like he's trying to say is that is when this completion of this reciprocal will take place.
You will see, the thing about it is this here. The white boy got 4,000 calculations. He is not the author on how that shit gonna take place. He doesn't know that. They say it's gonna come like a thief in the night because it's left up to the elect, mainly here in North America, and mainly the black people on the East Coast and few scattered throughout the United States. We are the ones that decide that, and the only thing they can do is estimate based on some things because they are not the ones that put that thing forth. So all of them got thousands of calculations and stuff, but remember they're trying to talk to their particular people. So you have to understand, based on reading stuff with a grain of salt, they can't say when it's going to happen, but they all know that based on the cycle that we are literally, that's literally taking place now, and we are at the end of the spectrum.
They know.
They know that particular much based on the cycle on what's called it, and that cycle is now even in the movie Matrix. The guy said, first of all, you think it's 1999 and we don't know what it is, but we know in so many words that it's way up into the 2000s. You see what I'm saying? So even the conservative estimate, we talking about 5 years of the Dogon, saying it was 1994. So my point is he's talking about chaos, and it can't be, you can't put a time on it as far as calculative numbers, but we do know the season, and we also know this particular part too. For the mere fact, and it answers your question, one of the key factors is for the mere fact they got to even run this Y2K bullshit, period, is they have been called out. You see what I'm saying? Now, supposedly, the third prophecy of Fatima is supposed to be broken. This thing called Boli.
Right. That's supposed to be in July.
in so-called July of this particular, in so many words, what the thing is, let's put it this way. In so many words, it all go back down to the same black hole that's out there that the earth is in, that it's called the photon belt. It's the same thing. Photon belt or mental. Jeremiah got it in his book, and it's called the layer of Apep, which is the great dragon. But this bolide thing that they're talking about and all this kind of thing here and all. The first thing, what's his name, wrote in and said, called in and said, Richard Hoagland is, and this is his words, that it's the people who are going to decide on whether the earth should be saved from this bolide if some black ops people will make the decision. He ain't talking about nothing but our monkey asses. That's it. But they don't have the decision to do it, but they do know that now is the time. Because the Y2K thing is the actually point thing to this. You see what I'm saying? That is the doggone straw to break the camel's back. And they know, and they're all banking right on the Nostradamus 1999, 7 months from the sky will become a great king of terror. You see what I'm saying? Who will reestablish the great kings of the Mongols. I'm going to get into that in a few minutes. Because there's a movie that dropped on all that called The Shadow. Alec Baldwin. But I'm going to break it down in a few minutes so you can understand this thing and also too. So all of that type of stuff that they're talking about, the spirals and all this type of stuff here, you must understand that all that particular stuff has already happened. What's that, sister?
I want to know whether the circle and the star out that they found down there in Florida. Well, does it have any connections to this as a reminder or something?
The circle and the star?
By the indigenous in Florida. They just found in the last week.
I found what now?
They found a circle and a star left by a black race years and years ago. And they're supposed to be before they claim anything else that the white people have.
Yeah. All of those particular symbology, all of that stuff, everything we're dealing with now is all indicating the same thing. You see what I'm saying? It's all indicating the same thing. For the mere fact that they always say they just found something, but my research is they already know about the stuff and they just start coming out with the stuff. Now they're talking about these black ops people, right? And this whole bolide thing. But listen, this is what happened. In 1994, Nostradamus had some other quatrains, prophecies that he put in another book, which was the key to all the other books thing. So it was supposed to come out in 1994, but they had problems translating it, and they put it out in a couple of weeks before Christmas. The book, the Nostradamus Code. But it's interesting because the last page of the book, the last couple of chapters of the book, his last prophecy, they're showing the same fucking black hole out here. The same black hole out here. So all of that stuff is actually talking about the same thing. Including the impeachment thing, you can monitor how far they're going by how desperate they are coming to. With the impeachment thing, and look, on Nightline, all of doggone January, they kept saying the arcane ritual of impeachment. They kept saying it over and over again, the arcane ritual of impeachment. So they were telling the people about this thing being a ritual. So they know, they can estimate based on the time, but they don't have the ultimate thing based on when it's going to happen, because it's got to happen by us. We're the only people that can make this thing happen. And there is no spirit outside of us that can do this and stuff, because they don't have the energy to do it. We are the highest thing in the universe now. And no other spirits outside of us can bring this thing on. And when you say, well, why not Africa, why other thing? Because we're the only people privy to this particular information. If it was Africa, Africa would have had a golden age of learning this particular stuff too. If it was the Caribbean, it would be that. But we understand that the Caribbean people and all of this is the same people. They intertwine with each other on the west. So that's the diaspora. So we're talking about, so this is all a part of the whole Caribbean thing too. But we know that the centers of the knowledge knowledge is right here in the United States and mainly on the East Coast where you get the greater impact, but throughout the whole United States it's scattered out. So it's got to come by the people here in America, the ones that's left behind. You see. So a lot of that stuff, the whole swirl and all that and the light stuff that he talking about, that ain't nothing but another representation of the soul which is coming. You see what I'm saying? What's that, brother? And then you, okay, what's that?
I had a question.
Go ahead.
I had a question. I guess you made the comment, you said in a joking way that you're not willing to live out on land or do whatever with black people. And I've talked with various people, and you gave a reason. Is there a reason why black people can't work together? If so, what's the purpose of us even dealing with each other if we can't work
It's about, this is it. This is it. We're not going to do shit. As far as physical. Listen. See, you got to be honest with it. We're dealing with spiritual shit here. Now, we can't be idealistic about it. Our people are fucking savage idiots. Now, I can say that because I work for my people. So it's not like I'm a motherfucker from IBM coming up and they're saying our people are savage people. Our people are fucking deranged. There is no working for them, but then again, it's prophesied that we cannot do anything on the physical. It's all about the spiritual. It is not going to come from the masses.
Where is it going to?
This is the goal of spirituality. This is the only thing that is ruling shit. A small inner circle. The masses ain't never did shit in history but died. That's what the white boy understands, and that's why the white boy, the people who shape your life is not all white people. There's a few motherfuckers in the room somewhere. You see what I'm saying? So, it's not going to be a whole masses of people because it's prophesied even in the Bible. They say, when will it be over? And Jesus, or the Christ, replies, when the temple of Jerusalem falls. The temple of Jerusalem is the physical body. And it means the total degeneration of human life wave on the planet. If a person is degenerated on the human life, man, it means he can't do anything. I mean, we have failed not just to do anything among the black, but we have failed to just basically take care of ourselves and our people within a 30-year lifespan.
So there's no reason why we should be trying to, well, there's a few select people that we should be looking to work with, or?
No. It's here in this room right now. You see what I'm saying? It's the information and the certain knowledge that I'm giving out. It's happening, but it's not going to happen by you physically. You're going to go to bed one day and you're going to go into a damn dream and you're going to go into another side of the doorway and you're going to be back. It's going to return. We're talking about a spiritual thing. We're not talking about a political, economical, sociological. We're talking about the spirit realm. You have a soul in you that is a monstrous spirit that's going to take you. Simple. They tell you the shit on. You ever see the science fiction movies? They're getting that from the ancient script where the people wake up and they got a little monster behind them operating them. And all of a sudden the whole town is taken over by this mysterious energy. That's what's getting ready to happen. Your soul on the inside of you is going to override you physically. You see what I'm saying? Because you can't function only on the mundane plane. Your soul is a higher entity. We did not come on the plane as physical beings. We were higher spiritual beings. So this is only the dream. It's only an illusion. An illusion can't do anything but be the illusion. It cannot be anything higher than what it is. Your soul, on the other hand, is higher than that. So we're dealing with spirituality here. We're not dealing with... There's several things you go to, and I know you're probably used to going to a whole lot of meetings and people talking about we got to do this and we got to do this and black people don't do this and black people don't... Black people don't supposed to do that because it's not prophesied for you to do that. It's prophesied for your soul to rise up and get the hell on. And anything short of that, it ain't gonna work. I'm just letting you know right offhand right now so you can save yourself a whole lot of goddamn trouble. Fucking around with the dumb shit. It's not happening. You can't even function on a regular human level with a person subhuman than you can get shit right.
Does it make sense to start a family in that condition then?
Huh?
If that's the way it is. Is it is it not intelligent to say I'm not going to start a family since that situation persists?
In actuality, he even tell you in your Bible it's going to be especially hard for motherfuckers to have infants in the last days. It's futile.
So you can't start a family in a situation like this, right?
There is no future. It's only going to get worse. Now that's up to you whether you can start a family, but again, it won't be no more struggling than we've always been in. So I mean, if you're going to have a family, whatever, that for your enjoyment for the time, that's fine. But you don't have 100 years. You don't have what you call it now. You shouldn't want 100 years in this shit.
That's right.
Every day you wake up, you should hate being here, or otherwise you got work to do. Then how many vacations can you take? How much shit in the store that you ain't already got? They keep changing up the style every fucking 5 months to keep you selling. You see what I'm saying? It's really nothing. There's nothing left. I just hate to say it, but we are the generation that's got to take this thing on now. We've been here time and time before, and we've enjoyed certain things before, but that's just the way it is. Our people have suffered too hard for us to want to continue.
Teach.
There's nothing, I don't want to, there ain't no motherfucking place on earth I want to go. But I don't want shit, I don't want nothing. I don't want no new goddamn car. I don't want to go to no motherfucking dust ass Africa. I don't want to go to I don't want shit. I want to get out of this motherfucker. You shouldn't be tired of this thing. Fucking take a cyanide capsule. It would be noble. We're talking about another level, but what we're dealing with here, we're not dealing with liberation masturbation about a whole lot of things that's not going to work. And it's not going to work because your soul inside of you is not going to keep you running to keep it trapped. This physical body is a jailhouse. Your soul is trapped inside. Now your soul had to endure generations and eons until the physical realm wore down to the particular level that the soul can't escape. Now the soul is on the verge of getting out, and it's not going to assist you to keep it in prison. You see what I'm saying? It wants out. It wants freedom. It wants to be the master. Damn a fucking Mercedes-Benz when I want to damn take over solar systems.
Right.
And fart on moons and piss on stars. That's what we do. You see what I'm saying? So we're talking about a greater entity. So all the other stuff, we've had 30 years of all the revolutionary freedom fighter stuff and none of it worked. It's beauty in that because see, let me show you something. First of all, the white man has only been ruling 90-something goddamn years. If you study history, look, you gotta study history. First of all, it took the Moors 700 years to teach his ass something. He ousted the Moors in 1492 when Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
There you go.
So from 1492 up until the 20th century, that was his incubation stage. He was killing himself for almost 700 years. He didn't even take Africa to the late 1800s. He's only been ruling in a technological age, the Industrial Revolution, which is right into the 20th century. Even the British Empire couldn't take the whole world until the late 19th century. So he's only been ruling a small period of time. Now, on a conservative estimate, if you don't even want to deal, first of all, we ruled for billions of years. But even on a conservative estimate, we ruled 3,000 years in Hemmitt dynastic alone. We ruled another doggone 4,000 years to 5,000 years in pre-dynastic. And before that, that's when a whole bunch of gods used to rule. That's what Manetho, the high priest, said. So my point is, if he's only been ruling a little over 90 years as a world power, you see what I'm saying? Because even Rome and Greece, those are just 100-200 years first, and then it was fallen. So he's only been ruling such a short time. Look at the amount of time we've been on the damn earth. But we come into creation during the fall. When Egypt, the physical dynastic Egypt fell, our real dynasty was over. So I'm saying thousands and thousands of years. And what we're doing now is we're teaching something. This is something different than what you get from everybody else. You see what I'm saying? This is something different than what you get from everybody else. This is something on a whole nother high level. And this is what I teach based on higher realms of spirituality. But I know what the spirit is. The spirit is not a feel-good thing. Your soul is a monstrous soul that wants to get out of this shit. So it's not going to lend a certain amount of energy field no more. When the cycle now and the door is there to go, it's ready to go. You see what I'm saying? What's that, brother?
Yeah. What kind of altar, or how do you set up an altar in your home to keep the white scullion out your house?
Yeah, okay, it's a good question. You need to do the study out. We talked about this before. Let me give you two things, first of all. For finances, because you still need some goddamn money. Okay. So let me give you a good ass Haitian ritual. Did I give you the one on the honey and the parchment paper last time? Huh? No, I know the 4 pennies. Okay, there's one. You know about the 4 pennies. You take 4 pennies on a Monday to a crossroad. That's 4 corners. Put 4 pennies on each on each row, and ask the leg bar for financial lead or financial assistance. 4 pennies, 16 pennies, one on this crossroad, one on that corner, one on that corner, one on that corner, and ask the leg bar for financial assistance. Take about 7 days with all that work. That's the lesser one. Here's the greater one.
You said Monday for that?
That's a Monday. Huh? 4 pennies on Monday. Take 4 pennies, 16 pennies. Put 4 pennies on that corner, 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 and ask Elegba. E-L-E-B-A. Wait, no. E-L-G-B-A. Legba. For financial lead or financial assistance. That's one of them. This is now here's one for some real deal money. Well, not $1 million, just to really get you out of a scrape. You get you 2 pieces of parchment paper. 2 pieces of parchment paper. Okay? You get you a pink candle. Pink? Preferably 7 days. You know, that's the ones in the glass. But anyone will do.
You said 7 days.
7-day candle. Get you pink candle. Now, first of all, they get this. They go to Haiti and they get this ritual. They go in and they come take it back to the United States. Charge the people $100 to get in. Serve them some food. Give them the ritual and they go home and do it. But I'm giving you shit for free. Because the woman paid $100 and then called me the next day and gave it to me. So I figured she gave it to me for free. I got to give it to you for free. So you're getting a pink candle, 2 pieces of parchment paper. Okay? You're going to get a white paper bag. You know, in a little white paper bag. Get you a white paper bag. Get you a piece of string. Get you a piece of string. It could be a shoestring. It doesn't matter. Okay. A shoestring. And you're going to get a plate. White plate. Okay. You're going to get a white plate. All right. And you're going to get some honey. All right. You take 1 piece of parchment paper and you put it inside of the plate. On the plate. You get the plate. You take 1 piece of parchment paper. But before you put the parchment paper on the plate, you're going to write on the parchment paper, at the top of the paper, this word, I want to spell it, E-R-Z-U-L-I-E. Erzuli. E-R-Z-U-L-I-E. Erzuli. That's Hathor or Isis in another thing. That's Oshun in what you call it, but Erzuli. Just write Erzuli. Just write Erzuli, because it's Haitian, so it's well done. So just as they were, so you know, write Erzuli at the top of the paper. Okay. Then you're going to write on one. You're going to write Erzuli on 1 piece of paper. You're going to write Erzuli on the other piece of parchment paper. Then you're going to write out what you need financially financially on one sheet of paper, and you're going to write identical on what you need financially on the other sheet of paper. Okay? You're going to take one sheet of paper with the Erzuli at the top and what you need financially. You're going to take it and you're going to put it on a plate. Then you're going to take some honey and you're going to pour on top of that paper, on the plate. You're going to take that thing and you're going to put that plate on the table like this. You're going to take a string, you're going to take the other piece of parchment paper and you're going to put inside the white paper bag.
You gonna tie it up and then put it in the bag?
I'm going to give you the string. You're going to take the piece of parchment paper, roll it up, put it in the bag. Okay? Put it in the bag. Twist the top of the bag, tie a string around the bag at one end of the string so it hangs down. Okay? Then you're going to take a thumbtack and you're going to have the first plate on the table with Erzuli and what's written on it and the honey poured on top of that. In the plate on top of the table, and you're going to take the pink candle and set it beside the plate on the table. You're going to take the other piece of string and you're going to take a thumbtack and you're going to take the other bag with that on it and you're going to pin it in a thumbtack directly under the table so it hangs down under the table. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to have your plate and all that on the top, and you're going to have a string hanging with the bag tied up at one end with the paper in it, and it's going to be hanging down on the table. Like a balloon when you see, but the bag. And you're going to put it up under there, and you're going to light that candle. And whatever on that paper should give you whatever you need. But basically, at this particular point in time, it's going to work better for small allotments, not no fucking navigator and all kind of dumb shit. You see what I'm saying? Now, but that's true Erzuli. Now, the next thing you need to do is, for the ritual, is you get you any type of wooden structure in your, like this podium, or this particular thing right here. As long as it's wooden, an end table, anything. You're going to get you a yellow piece of cloth, as long as it's natural fibers, linen, cotton. Even if you can find some wool, but just linen or cotton. As long as it's a natural fibers, no polyester. You're going to drape it over that wooden thing, end table, podium or whatever. You're going to make an altar out of it. Then you're going to get you a plate. You're going to get you a yellow 7-day candle and a blue 7-day candle. You're going to put the plate on top of the altar. You're going to take something African and put in the plate. You're going to take something Native American and put in the plate. And whatever else you put on your altar is up to you. Whatever the Spirit tells you to put on the altar is up to you. You're going to put that on the plate. On the altar with the yellow thing, yellow-blue candle, yellow material draped over that. And you're going to write a list for protection or for cleansing of the house and spiritual part of the house. You're going to write a list of whatever to Thunderdog. Whatever you want. I want my house to be free. I want a nice energy up in here. I want it to be protected spiritually. You're going to write that to Thunderdog. And then you're going to light those candles. Light them for about a week or two, because they're going to run into some money and get 7 days every. But get you enough for like 2 weeks. Then after 2 weeks, you don't have to light it as much. You can just put the candles up there, and you don't have to light it. But every now and then light it, and you won't have no problems with that particular thing as far as that altar. And that should hook up. That should hook up your house. For spiritual bath, get you some limes and some lemons and cut them up. Run you some bath water, cut them up, cut those limes and lemons up, and put them in that bath water. Squeeze it out a little bit. Squeeze it like you make a lemonade in the bath water. Then put the rinds in there with you and get in there and take a bath. And before you get out, put your head all the way up under the water. Yeah, all the way up under the water so it gets your head. Then you get out and go to the shower and wash all that stuff off and shower all that stuff off. And that will literally clean your aura. That will literally clean your aura. So give me some more questions right quick.
I think
Yeah. Okay, yeah, she had it. And then you, what's that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You were talking earlier about how the pyramids were constructed by the third eye, us being able to mentally move.
Right.
And you were also talking about we need to get up off here.
Yeah.
My question is, how do you, and I guess, and I'm just using the best example that I can, you know how they tell you when you play the game of Uno or something, you draw this card and you draw that card, so they give you specific instructions. So what is it that we need to do to raise our vibration rate where we can move things like that? And then what is it we need to, how can we get off of here without, I mean, do you have to take the cyanide pill to get off? Or, I mean,
No, that was just a little joke. It's not really a bad idea. Dr. Kevorkian had to be stopped because he was creating a vortex of energy. See, I want to say about that, he had to be stopped. They had to put him in jail because death is the only reality there is. This is death, the other side is life. So he was bringing too much of the death realm based on a ritual with them white people, and they couldn't have that shit, so that's why they had to stop him. He didn't do nothing wrong. The person got the right to kill their damn self. What the shit is that? You know, but on the other hand, basically there's meditational techniques and all of that type of stuff. But one of the main keys is on the sphere of the Kabbalah. On the sphere of the Kabbalah, you will find. Let me get a Kabbalah. You will find this particular sphere called Abina. It's on the Kabbalah, and I had the Kabbalah I'll get it in a few minutes. But anyway, what it is here it is. Y'all all right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now. It's called Bina. This. Once you go through Dogma, which is the black dogma, you hit Bina. And Bina access all the other three spheres, the top triad, the three pyramids in Giza, the three crosses at Calvary, the three stars in Orion's belt, Jubilee, Jubileum, the three wise men, all that is talking about the same. Left brain, right brain, frontal lobe. You see what I'm saying? Osiris, Isis, Horus, all that's the same top three triads. But Bina, which is the mother energy of Saturn, once you hit this 50th gate of Bina, it's the 50 gates of understanding. So basically what happens is this. The more you study and try to figure out, the melanin molecules is like a Rubik's Cube. And the more it lines up. There's a great movie I called Cube. And it would have been an excellent movie. But when you go into the wrong room, you get killed. And it would have been an excellent movie, but they tried to savage the black man in the movie and made him all crazy. So get past that particular part. Because they're always doing that on all shit. And here's, they tried to savage him, but the movie is talking about how a cube and a circle is one and the same. So it's like a Rubik's Cube. The more and more you try to understand this thing, the more and more it lines up. There's only one key to it though. Most people, you deal with knowledge on the side item. There's still certain things in your life that's taking precedent over this. And the more and more you become more serious, where this becomes more of the primary focus in other things, you see what I'm saying? It's not. Then the more and more things will line up. You see, the problem here is you deal with this, but still, this is not the major focus in your life. It's your job, it's whatever the damn thing is. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you got to go quit your job and walk around with a big sheet on and a big stick. But it means that you can be on the job and you can be doing something and functioning but not be a part of it at the same time mentally.
In the world, not up.
So they say be in the world but not of the world. You can do it all the time now. You can be functioning and doing what you got to do just to stay above water. But on the other hand, you can be thinking about this every day, waking day. You see what I'm saying? You know how you do it. You ever been in love before? Really in love? You know what I'm saying? And you function out there and shit and all. But you really, that love shit, that's a motherfucker, boy. When you first get hooked. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You be functioning and stuff, and you be just fucked up. I mean, you be functioning, but it be just like, you know, you be doing whatever, you be thinking about that Negro, or you think about that woman, you know, and it got you. You got it, you can't do nothing, you just gotta wait till that cycle, till that newness wear off, and you can somewhat function again. You know what I'm saying? So it's about like that. The more and more you take this thing seriously. See, all I do night and day is think of this thing. But I function each time. You see, so I function basically, you know, but I'm thinking about this when I'm talking to people. You see, I'm analyzing. So the more and more you put more, so they say, the more and more you give to the spirit, the more and more your spirit starts to become alive. But you don't have to, see, we are extremists in America. You don't have to drop all out of society and put on some old doggone robe like a monk and walk down the street with a big thing and have a big ass ankh on your chest and all that. Because that's not spirit, that's physical. You identifying with the physical. We're talking inwardly. So you can be right up in the white man shit, on the job every day, functioning, but then again on the other hand, you gotta be doing something. He does it every day. He lives two lives. He lives one life where you are the enemy, but yet he can function you, pat you on the back, and even go to a lunch and dinner with your ass. But he knows his role. So that's what it is. What you're doing right now, you're already here. You're already doing it. Case in point, for the mere fact, how many hours have I been speaking?
3.5.
3.5 hours. Yet it only seems like a couple of minutes, an hour or so. So right there, the transformation is taking place. You try doing anything for 3.5 and 8 hours and stuff like that, you can't do it. You see what I'm saying? So that has a lot to also do to it. You're already on the path. You're going to find out that the path is the journey. The goal, the pot of gold is the journey. What's that, brother? Go ahead.
Could you explain how the enemy is using the energy that we generate in the black church? How we generate this energy in the black church?
Yeah.
Through our usual rituals.
It's interesting. All that stuff is ceremonially to stop the flow of melody or the flow of spirituality. One brother was a theologian. I met him, he's from Dallas. He just gotten out of theology school. And he went to do his final theology speech or whatever they do. But he went to this white college and the place was packed for white people with white people, and he was coming out, he was on the podium, and he said his mouth started talking and the words started appearing on the page, and it was saying, you people are devils, you're gonna die, all kind of shit. And all right, and he was just saying it and all, you know. And then he said one day he was teaching a little catechism class, and he came in and said, you all are all gods. You all are gods. And stuff like that. He said it just started coming to him. And he said that one day he saw the energy that sets over the church, and it is some evil stuff. You know that yourself when you come in contact with a real religious person. And not unless you brainwashed, there's something ain't right about it. You get a funny feeling around. You get a funny feeling around some certain preachers. Something cold about them. You see what I'm saying? That's because there's an energy there, you see what I'm saying, that is against the order of actual nature and everything else. You see what I'm saying? But it's set up that way by the Freedmen's Bureau. You see what I'm saying? So they ritualistically comprise a system of worship that is anti-indigenous culture. That's why they call you the pagan, which means the people. What people were they talking about? The Africans. So it was literally a campaign to wipe out all forms of African culture, which was basically the dominant religion of the world, the Osirianism. And so they made something opposite from it, and that's what we've been locked into. Plus, you got to realize this too. Basically, the church that we are a part of got most of its start in Europe, because the ancient world, they didn't have that. So basically, we went into a European tradition that killed thousands of women at the stake, white people.
That's right.
And killed thousands of indigenous people around the earth under the skies of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Take your pick. Jumping from the pot to the frying pan. So as a result, and I'm not talking about Nation of Islam because that was a form of a mystery system with Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. That's on a whole other level. That's why the white boy want them to denounce Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the white arrow. But my point is, they got a whole tradition of murder in the world. Male chauvinist murder cults around the world that went into the focus of this particular religion that we call now, and now we are a part of it because those churches were established by the same people. So even the energy that it is going to, based on all the people that have died from it, and have been oppressed under the same religion, we're talking about a system that literally zaps the energy. But then again, on the other hand, when you go in and pray to an objective entity that you don't know nothing about, that is not related to yourself, and your customs that was comprised to worship your way, then you literally give that energy to another people, and they suck that energy up, and you keep their institutions alive. So you are actually the battery centers to keep these particular civilizations going, because if they didn't have your energy, this civilization would fall, because it's very evil. But they go in and they get your energy every Sunday, because these places are battery symbols to keep all this shit up, battery sensors to keep all this shit afloat. You see, and they just zap you.
So we basically forfeit our power by missing.
You literally forfeit your power, and you give it away. You give it away.
So explain Dracula.
Huh?
Dracula then.
Oh, I'm going to get into that tomorrow. That's a whole other thing. Dracula's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing. We are the Dracula that they're talking about. My man had a dream about that, Bram Stoker, but he was talking about the Moor. The Moor, he was talking about. The Prince of Darkness. The Prince of Darkness is nothing but Osiris. In the underworld. That's in the underworld. And I've got a whole special lecture based on that type of thing also too. So give me some more questions.
You mentioned something about a 500-year cycle?
Yeah. That's called the Phoenix cycle. And it's nothing but the Christ cycle. Every 500 years you have a certain Christ cycle, a certain amount of energy. So the mere fact that they had the thing that was going on the fifth element, where they was talking every 500 year evil come, they was trying to stop that Christ energy.
That's what's pretty much on the way happening now.
Yeah, in so many words, that's all